Okay, we are live. I'm so excited to introduce you to Cindy. Cindy was one of the brave ones that I know from many, many years ago when I was parent coaching. And then she popped up and was like, "What are you doing? I have all these things going on." And this idea that you're going to hear about from Cindy today was like maybe a tiny little baby birthday, like speck on the map of your life. So tell us about this. And you were the first, one of the first in Fuck Your Fears. So it's
Oh,
kind of
yes.
been
Wow, yeah.
a time. So yeah, you can just ramble or share like what are you doing? I shared a little bit, I shared your website, but yeah, just share a little bit about who you are and what you're doing and what you're the founder of.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I haven't done a live stream during the day and sometimes, so I always can appreciate when I can stop work and then just kind of, be together with someone that I really, really enjoy being with. So thank you, Shane. So yeah, my name's Cindy Mcfield-Asamoah. I am the founder and executive director for the Boys Room. And the Boys Room is a mission-based program for Black and Brown boys that attend predominantly white schools. And so we mentor, we empower, we support these boys during a critical time during their development. And the goal is to support them socially and academically. And so we just create a foundation for critical thinking. I started this program in New York City 3 years ago. Actually, in June, it'll be 4 years. And since I started, we have expanded to Connecticut, we've expanded to Massachusetts, and we're expanding to other states as well. And I'm single-handedly doing all of this. So, it's not my full time, although I love it so much. It's near and dear to my heart. I treat it as such. But yeah, I love it. I love working with, our elementary school kids. We've expanded to middle school kids because we were initially just working with the littles, just third, fourth, and fifth grade. But some of the kids started to phase out of my program and they asked if I would be willing to start a middle school cohort. So who am I to deny the boys? And of course I said, yes. So here we are. So I've got, middle school cohorts in all 3 states.
Oh my goodness. Like I saw you doing amazing things and I was like, Cindy, and I didn't know what, yeah, this is so amazing. It's like, yeah, I'm blown away and really proud. And you have a video to show us. And I'd love to,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to see it and love everybody to, I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to be excited with
Got
that.
it. Okay, fantastic. So let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. I just had it queued up. And so I just want to just get it ready for us. Okay. And let me know if you can see my screen here, Shane. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, fantastic. Let me just, oh, sorry. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, we still see it.
Sorry. Let's stop sharing. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix that.
We have
Uh,
lots of patience here, so don't worry about it.
okay, great. Because I don't know what just happened, but I'm going to get it back. Give me 1 second. Oh, hold on. And okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to attempt to share it again. Here we go. And can you see my screen now? Okay, fantastic. So I'm not going to make it large because I think that's what messed up. So I'm going to play it and let me know if you can hear it.
Welcome to the Boys Room. The Boys Room is a mission-based affinity program dedicated to working with parents and educators to create more equitable experiences for Black and Brown boys who attend predominantly white schools. So let's discuss. B is for believing. Believing that the stereotypes and misconceptions of Black and Brown boys can absolutely be dismantled. O is for opportunities. Expanding the field of opportunities for our boys to consistently succeed socially, emotionally, and academically to achieve their goals. Y is for yield. Knowing their voices and opinions matter as the foundation for powerful communication skills that will yield the results they want for themselves in life. S is for safe. creating a safe space to discover and celebrate their authentic selves with a true sense of belonging in their classroom and in the world. Frederick Douglass once said, and I quote, "It is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." Our boys meet weekly in curated groups, building relationships and forming a unique bond of brotherhood while being mentored by our fervent team for their development and empowerment. The present moment is critical. They receive personalized coaching and valuable tools to manage and navigate their day-to-day school activities and their personal journeys. For grades 3 through 8, sessions take place throughout the academic school year in person and on remote platforms. We offer lectures and discussions, activities, reflections, and lastly, a call to action with the 5 core values. 1. Confidence. 2. Belonging. 3. Awareness. 4. Respect. And 5. Leadership. Feel free to visit us at theboysroom.org or send us an email at support@theboysroom.org. You can also give us a call at 917-202-6204 for more information. We're here to help. Our team looks forward to seeing you at the Boys Room.
There we go. So,
Oh,
sorry. So that's my program there.
oh my goodness. I am so freaking proud of you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, so everybody knows where I'm coming from. Literally, you were like, I think I have this idea. Like it was so brand new. And
Yeah.
here it is. You're like, we're in other states. Here's our very awesome video. Here's our really meaningful message. Your 5 core values are so aligned with who you are,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just like really big, really big.
Thank you. So just to give you a little backstory about me, I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I grew up there. My parents are not from this country. They are from Central America. They're from Honduras. And so they migrated to Boston. And so, my siblings and I, there are 4 of us, we all went to predominantly white schools. And, I was the only Black person in my graduating class. And that was extremely hard for me from 5th grade to 12th grade. So much that when I graduated from high school, I told my parents, I was like, I don't want to go to college right now. I need a moment, because that was a lot. The schools that we went to, my siblings and I, we didn't go to the same schools, right? We didn't go to the same schools at all. We didn't live in those towns, right? We were bused out to the most affluent neighborhoods in Massachusetts. Our schools were like within the top 5 schools in the state, so the diversity. What's diversity? Like there's no population of any people of color in these towns. And I remember I had a friend, I won't mention her name, but, she had an enormous house. They had 12 bedrooms and they had like 9 bathrooms, and their house was so large that they had to alternate the sides of the house that they lived on every year. And it was ridiculous. They had lakes, squash courts, basketball courts, tennis courts. They were extremely wealthy. And, a kid who lives in Boston who is being bussed out an hour and a half away from home one way, right? And then not feeling acclimated in that space, and then having to come home and, live in my neighborhood, which was a very nice neighborhood. But I didn't go to school with the kids in the neighborhood, right? And then on top of that, I'm Hispanic. So there were so many layers to the onion, and wanting to check a box for myself, I couldn't. I wanted to, but I couldn't. And today I'm like, why did I feel like I needed to do that? Right. So I didn't really even feel like I belonged anywhere. Like I was like, I was an African-American person, but I was a different kind of an African-American person because we spoke Spanish. Right. And then to the Hispanic community, you're Hispanic, but you're a little on the darker side to be Hispanic, right? So we couldn't even check a box there. So it was challenging. And then growing up in Massachusetts, being a person of color. fast forward, I, graduate from college, get married, have a couple kids, and then the cycle continues, right? Like my kids are now in private school and they're going through that, right? So that's why this baby was birthed, because I didn't have anything like this. I had no programs to support the way that I felt. There were no affinity programs. People didn't know what that was. Teachers didn't know how to even help the students who were, the kids of color. We didn't have an outlet. We had no one to talk to. And it was extremely, extremely hard when you're in 5th grade and you're dealing with microaggressions and you really don't know the language to use and how to defend yourself and know strategies and all of the things, right? So anyway.
Oh my God. My heart, I'm like gonna cry. It's you're in it every day. It's a lot, but I'm like, oh my goodness, you're like impacting children's lives in
Yeah.
such a big way. Like that's our future. Like, that's who's going to help us
Right.
continue your story and your legacy, and to be like, I have a different life starting at 5th grade. It's different. And so what kept you going when it wasn't easy, or it felt like, what am I, because it's a big deal what you're doing. And I don't know how the fundraising works, and I want you to let people know if they want to contribute or if there's any way they can help. You can definitely share that. But what kept you going when it seemed or felt hard?
It was really hard. My boys kept me going. My boys kept me going because I would look at them every day. I would help them get dressed every day, knowing what they're going into. And look, they're in an amazing school right now. I'm not saying that their school, they do not want any part of diversity or anything. In fact, their independent school is one of the highest diversity schools, independent schools in New York City, but, I've been there for 10, 11 years. So I've helped with that. I was the chair on diversity, right? So, I wanted to make sure that we move that needle for these kids. And there were times when my oldest son, who's now in 7th grade, he was the only kid of color in his entire grade, not class, grade. So I know how that felt, and then when, he's younger, I mean, he experienced racism early, when kids were like, you don't look like us, you can't play with us. When you're in preschool and kindergarten, how do you explain racism to a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, But anyway, I forgot what you asked me. So my boy,
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kept me going, and, I would reach out to schools, and so they're like, oh, this sounds wonderful, but not sure we're there yet, or, so I just had to really work, my circles, friends of mine who are at, predominantly like schools, be it independent school, private school, charter school, and then just talk to them and get the word out that way. So then I started a little program, and then it just grew from there. I mean, I'm to the point now that, I was invited to Fordham University to speak. I was invited to, Barnard to speak. I was on Columbia's campus. They set me up at the table. Rutgers University has invited me to go and speak there, and so I'm now been invited to do a to be a part of the National Association of Independent Schools. They're having something in a couple of weeks. I was invited in Massachusetts in December to be a part of their convention. So the word is getting out about my mustard seed.
So let's talk about that mustard seed, and we might take a pause in a moment because I'm having a computer thing. So I just want to let everybody know we're just going to take a station break. But first I want to ask, like that mustard seed, people see you now, they're like, oh yeah, she's got funding, she's going to other states. That's the way it started. But it's so important for women, especially to hear, and especially women who are Black and brown, who think like, oh, grants and funding and all that stuff is for white affluent women who know how to write grants. And I mean, I kind of feel that sometimes. What did your mustard seed look like? Like, did you have a location? Did you have items to work with? Did you have, like, what did it look like when you say mustard seed?
I didn't have anything to work with. I just had a group of boys who wanted to be a part of this program. That's it. right? So I knew the program had legs. I had nothing. I didn't have a location. Within 4 days of, let me back up a little bit. How I started this is because, a friend of mine invited me to a panel discussion, and it was about white women who teach Black boys. And I was like, I think I need to be there. I've got two of them. So, went there, and there were parents, diversity directors, and and obviously teachers, and they were talking about, what's happening in school, and how they grew up and their perspective, blah blah blah. So that's how, months later, I realized I need to start a program for these Black and brown boys who are in these spaces. So when I thought about that, I had like literally an aha moment, told my husband about it. He's like, that sounds fantastic, but you should reach out to a couple of friends and see if they would even be into it. And so Friday night, 10 o'clock, sent a couple texts. Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I got the first response back in 5 minutes. And they were like, if you do this program, sign my kid up. And from that moment, I was getting texts, calls, emails. And within 4 days, I had a group of kids that I didn't know what to do with. And that's it. I had to stop saying yes, because I couldn't accept anymore. And I had 9 boys, and I had a wait list of like maybe 3 to 5 other families, just like waiting to see if these boys would just fall out so they can slide in. And they didn't, though. So I was calling around places to get, free space. Like, can I just, rent your space for a bit? And people were saying, oh, and they were giving me these astronomical numbers. Look, I just thought of this like to do this last week. I don't have funding for this, right? So, I went to, and someone suggested I talk to the Brooklyn Public Library. And that's what I did. And I told them what I wanted to do. And they were so behind it. And they were like, you can take any conference room you want. You can stay as long as you want, and just all of the things. And I was like, this is fantastic. And I did a 4-week intensive, just wanting to see, if this had legs, which I knew it did. But these boys showed up, Shane, every week. They just needed a safe space and a platform to speak.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's pause right there. First of all, let's give a shout out to libraries. We love our libraries. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to come over to my phone so you don't leave, and I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we can't.
Oh,
Oh, you're echoing now. Or at least I'm echoing, I think. Okay. It's better.
all right. Talk about rock and roll. I just want to have this recording. Oh no, we're still streaming. Okay, amazing. Great. So if someone's listening right now and they have chills like I do, and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to contribute to this, or I want to be a part of it, or I live in this state, we could use this. Like, how could people reach out to you? Or yeah, what do you want? Like, what are your desires? We've been talking about desires, but like, what are your right now desires, and what are your desires for the future?
Right now, my desires are a couple things. One, I certainly need funding, because I really need to onboard some great talent, right? Like, we are in 3 states. We've got cohorts in every state. And so, I need to onboard some really wonderful people. And obviously that requires being able to pay these people decent salaries, right? So I would, right now, I think I would just want to do just part-time. So I need funding so that I can hire some great folks. Right now in New York, I have 2 locations, and I'm paying for those 2 locations. And it's extremely hard. I've got my headquarters in one location, and I've got the programming in another. I'm paying for those 2 sites. So I need funding just for office space site locations. And even in the future, I'll need to have that for Massachusetts and for Connecticut as well. Since they want to get started immediately, I'm just using space in schools. So that's what I'm doing right now. I also need help just even with grant writing, right? So I need to go after the funding. I know there's funding there. Right now, I am a for-profit and I'm transitioning to nonprofit, but being for-profit, I'm extremely limited unless someone is donating to the organization, which I do get donations, but I need that big funding. I need big grant money. I want to be able to do more programming, for the kids. I want to be able to take them on culturally enrichment programs. I want to be able to have guest speakers come in. I want to be able to do workshops with them. That requires funding that I don't have. People are talking big numbers to come in to speak to a group, for an hour. I can't afford that with my budget. So yeah, so those are some of the immediate needs right now. And for future, yeah, I want to expand, my 3 states and go beyond that, which again, just kind of like rinse and repeat, right? Like I got to just get more folks. I've got to find new locations, like all of the things, because at the end of the day, while I love doing some of the programming here in New York, even in Connecticut, I want to be able to hire folks to do that so I can go after these large schools or these corporations and these institutions and have a seat at the table so I can have conversations with them so they can help the program grow and be sustainable.
Amazing. Well, I have a couple of nonprofit creative companies that I would love to connect you with.
Okay.
Um, just like movie making. One of them is called RealWorks, and it's
Mhm.
their nonprofit gives them budget to show up in different places. I don't know. There's just something there,
Mhm.
but I'm just like really admiring that you're like, what I see when people have these great things, it's like they seem to know how to get the money. And you're like, well, I don't know, but I'm still doing it.
Right.
We're going to figure that out along the way. And that's
Yeah.
something I really honor. It's like there's no getting ready to get ready. You're like, there's a need, I'm going to meet it, and the rest is
Right.
going to come. So there's
Yes.
a lot of trust in yourself. And actually, I don't call it fuck your fears anymore, but it's unconventional icon. And so it's totally describing the way you are. Like,
Yeah.
have a background in nonprofits. Like, what's your background work? What's your other job that you talked about?
Well, I have a degree in social work and psychology, so I'm
Okay.
falling back on that now, but
Yeah.
I've been doing real estate for the past 23 years. I was working at the most prominent real estate firm in New York City, and I just kept moving up, just the titles kept changing and they kept getting better. And I was like, I think I need to start my own. So that's exactly what I did. And so, I hung up my own shingle. And so at February 2023, I made 10 years of having my own real estate firm.
Amazing. And
Thank
you
you.
made it through COVID. Like this was started way before. So
Yeah, it started in 2019, June of 2019. It was less than a year old, and then boom, COVID hit. So in March of 2020, I didn't even complete a full year. And that was really hard. I just had to, just like everybody else, we had to pivot and we were doing this, right? We were Zooming. So, and we did that for a while, but after a while, everyone, of course, got Zoom fatigue, so I had to then do like hybrid, we would meet in person, but everyone would be far away and masked up and all of the things. And we were meeting outside, at like Prospect Park or something, because the boys needed interaction and not this type of interaction. Like they needed to see their brothers. They needed to be in community, right? And I get it because I needed it too. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we did that for a bit and then we finally were just like, all right, we're just going to fully just be in person. And that's what we've been doing. But since, the program has started, like, I've expanded a bit more. So now we have a book club now, we have the Lit Squad. And so we do that. We do that online, and that's an opportunity for the kids in New York and Boston, Connect. They can all get together online and we're reading amazing books, and books about their own experiences, So yeah, and I've hired instructors to do that. So that's great. But yeah, we have a book club as well.
I'm, you are amazing. And I'm feeling so inspired. And,
Thank
sometimes it's just about having this conversation that sort of shifts that quarter that makes all the, let's just say, the money drop. And I don't know what that'll be, but I'll share this everywhere. And yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you and just really excited for these boys that get brotherhood early on, you know.
Yeah.
And it's about, it sounds like intellect and creativity, like it's all the things. It's not
All the
just
things.
some limited whatever that has been given.
And
No
no,
limit.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. And do you have like one kid that sticks out? You don't have to say his name, but that you want to talk about and like, I don't know.
It's interesting because they're all
I,
different and they've got, their own personalities. And I don't know, it's so hard. I don't know if I can just choose one kid because right now I've got 30 of them.
oh my goodness.
So,
That's
it's hard to say.
what group moment, like a moment where you were like, this is like where you were touched. Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So there's a moment when we were sharing something and one of the kids said, you're not going to share this with my parents, right? So, and then another kid was like, Miss Cindy says what's said in this group stays in this group. So we can share anything in this group. And that made me feel so good because they trust, right? They're trusting that I'm not going to say anything to their parents. And of course, if it's something that I felt they were going to harm themselves or harm someone else, of course, yes. But they're trusting the process, right? They have, this woman who loves them. They're all my boys. I love them all. And they trust me and they know whatever they share with me that I'm going to give them the best advice. And look, kids can see through BS. They know when you're pulling their leg, like, you know what I mean? And I come and I'm just a genuine spirit. I'm super authentic and they bring that to the table as well. And so it's always a wonderful time when we meet in group. It is.
Oh my goodness, amazing. Well, I put up a couple of your links and I'd love to put up that video. And yeah, like what would let's say someone like doesn't have money or they don't know how to help, but they're like, I want to do something. Like, would it be helpful for them to share? Because now we all have, what COVID did was it expanded all of our networks,
Yeah.
And so I find that sometimes it's just about sharing a video or sharing a message. Like if there's something you want me to ask all the women and whoever else sees this after this to share, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I'll share my video with you. I'll share the website as well. But yeah, I'm just looking to, and I know this might be a bit premature, but I'm looking to expand beyond these 3 states. I know that I will. I know there's a need everywhere for a program like this. So I'm looking for connections with the schools. I'm looking for community-based organizations. I'm looking to collaborate. I'm looking to partner. I'm looking for great talent. I'm looking for space. I'm looking for funding.
Yeah.
Anyone who
like an NBA player to be like, here's $1 billion. What you're doing is brilliant, and like take it and run.
Well,
I
don't
don't.
think I'm not speaking to any of them. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking, I definitely want to make sure that this is really an enrichment program. So in addition to just doing groups, I want to have these folks come and, be a guest speaker. One year we had Jacqueline Woodson, who was an amazing author, and she came through and she is such a bubbly spirit. And I made sure that we read one of her books, or maybe even 2 of her books before she came. And she literally just kind of like popped in, was like, hey, they were like, oh, you know what I mean? They were so excited.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So I want to do some things that, even, so this is one other thing, because I know we have to hop, but, for February, what I did is, it was Black History Month. And so what I did is for one weekend, I took all of the boys to Fotografiska, and that's a museum in the city where they were honoring it was the 50th anniversary for hip hop. And so I took all the boys there because, sure, they know about the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, the Harriet Tubman, right? Like that's all wonderful history, but they also need to know about their history in their city, right? So it's not so far removed, because hip hop was just 50 years ago. It wasn't, 80 or 100 years ago. So it was closer. And so this is something that they all love to listen to. So to have a, curated guided tour, of these boys moving through the space and hearing the music and seeing the cassette tapes and the boom boxes and, seeing, LL Cool J, and then they go to the West Coast and then they see Tupac and just all of it. They were loving it. So I want to do more things like that. You know what I mean?
So fun. Oh my goodness. I, from head to toe, am like activated with just joy that you exist and that all these boys not only enjoy it and love it, but they wanted more. And so now you have for older, it's like a place for them to grow, and then they can have their kids and amazing. Just really, really good work in this world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. And thank you for giving me a platform to share my story and to share my program. I'm happy to do this anytime.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I want everyone to be inspired and to take action. And if there's anybody to introduce you to or any way to support, I feel like now's the time to do it. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. They can donate on my website there. There's a donate tab there. They can go there at www.theboysroom.org. They can donate there. If they'd love to have another conversation or just, speak to me directly, I'm happy to do that. My cell number is listed, but I'll share it. It's 917-202-6204. And they can reach out to me also an email, which is support@theboysroom.org.
Amazing. Amazing. And we'll put links so people can be lazy and just click to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Impacts the world in a way that really comes back to you tenfold.
Thank you. I appreciate that. From your lips to God's ears.
Yes, absolutely. And on full sharing. Amazing. Well, yeah, I want to say if anybody has any questions or wants to give any feedback or comments, you can put it in the chat and then Cindy will see it, or the comments, and I will too. Yeah, and thank you so much. And I will return you back into your life and touch.
Awesome. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take good care. Bye now.